So the S25 Ultra could be the greatest phone of all time. Look, the S24 Ultra is pretty phenomenal. It kind of ticks pretty much every box, but to be fair, there's a lot of things that I would add or improve on if I was making the Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra. Samsung's constantly refining their phones, and I think these refinements will really just set it apart. If Samsung is listening, or if I was consulting for Samsung, these are the features that I would want the S25 Ultra to have. Free AI and enhanced, more integrated AI. So I love the AI features that the S24 Ultra has, but a lot of them actually are gimmicky. There's stuff that I don't use every single day, and the cool stuff is actually hard to show on video, so not many people actually care about it. What is missing though from all of these AI assistants like Gemini, properly in Gemini, and Copilot, it's just the ability to have a more integrated AI experience. Apple are doing it now. They're putting ChatGPT 4 in with their whole Apple intelligence ecosystem, and I think that's the most important part of AI. It makes it useful. When AI is dropped with the flips and folds, they introduced all the sketch to image. Those things are very cool, but they aren't as useful day to day as a proper AI virtual assistant. And in order for you to create a proper AI virtual assistant, you need something that is more integrated. It pulls from your calendar, it pulls from your email address, it pulls from the calls that you've had, it pulls from your watch list, it pulls from your shopping lists. And Samsung really have a chance here to make a way more integrated AI ecosystem, because they also have all these AI enhanced appliances like washing machines and fridges and so on. Getting more of those into people's homes and getting a more detailed idea of how you wash your clothes or what food is in the fridge means that you can build that integrated AI in a way that Apple just can't. And then obviously I want it to be free. I think this day and age of having to pay for all of that stuff it's just, I can't pay for another subscription. And the benefit of having all of those things integrated and having that sort of AI, it can be done on the chipset. It doesn't have to be done in the cloud, right? It's not stealing creative images from artists or anything and then remixing it into your own image or whatever the case is. It's literally taking the information that you've provided, that you've pulled in from all your appliances, from your voice notes or whatever's on your new device, your emails, and then reinterprets that to help you. And that doesn't need to be done in the cloud. It can literally be done on the chipset. The second thing is I really want Samsung to allow us to shoot in log. So Apple has the ability to shoot in log, which is this really desaturated raw video file that it's easier to grade. So it captures a lot of the lowlights and a lot of the highlights, stuff that you can't get if you record something in like a regular MP4. Log is standard when you are filming for film. And Apple have had it for the past couple of years. A lot of people don't really understand why they use it, but a lot of people use their phones, including myself, as a main production device. These are productivity tools. And having a huge sensor like the S24 Ultra, it should be able to unlock shooting raw video in log. That's going to make these devices way more useful for production and for YouTubers and content creators, professional people like us who make our living recording video and taking photographs. Samsung, please. As far as I know, we've already got the technology here in the S24 Ultra. Please unlock that in software for the S25 Ultra. Number 3 on my list is installing Luts. Now, Luts are short for lookup tables. This is also for those of us who are phone-first content creators. A LUT is like a professional filter. It's something that you add over footage when you're editing it, or something you use in Lightroom to add over images to give it a certain color grade and look. And they're universal, so that you can use a LUT in Lightroom, you can use it in DaVinci Resolve, and potentially you could use it on your photographs. Now, I know there are some apps that you can get and install and add your photos to them, but it's not quite the same as having the ability to do that within Gallery. And Gallery is a very good app on Samsung devices. In fact, I think it's the best photo app in my opinion. I know a lot of people are probably going to argue with me about Google Photos being better, but in my opinion, I think the Gallery is by far the strongest. I got cloud synced folders in Gallery from all my from my personal drive of footage that I'm recording. Like this gets cloud synced to my phone that I'm recording, which is pretty cool. And those features are amazing when you are a creator. I do know that you can add filters to photographs, but here's the catch. I want to be able to add those LUTs when I am actually taking that shot or recording that footage live in camera. And I know this is possible. Cameras do this all the time. The most popular one that everybody's talking about is that the Fujification of cameras that are doing that kind of thing. You build your own look using a lookup table, and then you can record in that lookup table straight directly into your camera, which is cool. And then you could remove it potentially because it's added to the footage, the raw footage. So if you could shoot in log and then add a LUT, you can literally have cinema quality looking footage.
It's cinematic. It's gonna look nice, you know?
And as far as I know, I don't think Apple even allows you to add LUTs to your media. Now I know that Samsung do have filters in the camera roll, and you can do that with filters, but those are all linked to different apps that you download and that have exposed their filters to the camera app. But there's no way for me to add, click plus, add a LUT. You can add an image that was treated with a LUT, but it's not quite the same as being able to have granular control of a lookup table in a photograph. So Samsung, please, for us professionals, that's a big deal. The next thing is a LiDAR. I really am bleak that Samsung still don't have LiDARs in their phones, and Apple do. The benefit of a LiDAR for a lot of people is that it's got facial depth sensing. So a lot of the apps use those, that technology. I think they kind of took it out because they didn't see a need for that kind of biometric readings. But a lot of apps on the Apple App Store use the LiDAR to do cool stuff like scanning products and rendering them in 3D. So you can use the LiDAR to basically render a 3D space and then export that as a 3D file, which is awesome. And in our creative industry, that is a very cool prospect. So it's a really cool tool to do some awesome stuff with. Scanning in, like if I'm doing in my channel, I could scan in like other phones and do some really cool, special effects with it. But unfortunately, Samsung just removed the LiDAR a couple of years ago and just haven't put it in again. It's disappointing. One thing that I'd really like to see is satellite emergency tracking. Apple have got that in all of their phones pretty much for the past couple of years, which allows you to be able to send emergency messages or potentially make phone calls on emergency satellite networks. And you obviously need the hardware inside the phone to do that, and Samsung just hasn't done that. And they've not tapped into any network that does. There are rumors that the S25 Ultra is going to be able to do that, but it's such a great safety mechanism, especially if you're using SmartThings and you want to track a phone, or if a family member has lost their device or your family member is missing, you still have access to try and find out where their phone is using that satellite emergency tracking. And they can even add like a ping and get like an SOS out, which again, could potentially save lives. The cameras here are impeccable. But one of the big rumored upgrades, and you can watch that video, I've done a whole video on it, is that there's going to be a better ultra-wide camera. That, to me, is so important. I think that the ultra-wide cameras on these devices are probably some of the best lenses on the camera. That look is amazing, but you can see when you film and when you take photographs in it that the quality of those images is dramatically lower than the quality of like the 1x or the 5x lens on the device. It just looks gross in comparison to the other lenses. So I really hope that they do improve that and have a proper ultra-wide camera and they can really beat Apple to it. Samsung, I want better, brighter colors. Look, the colors from last year were great. I think they were part of like the look and feel of this year. I actually really grew to love my gray phone. Like it's a beautiful looking device. Love the yellows that came out. I love the black slate. That was such a nice color. But I just want something a little bit more brighter. Even Apple's like contribution this year is just, I feel like the color's a little bit subdued. I want to have more fun with my phone. And like we haven't seen like a pink like Samsung Galaxy for a long time that just looks great. So more saturated, brighter colors. I think these devices really deserve it. If I have another year of like business colors, please, like let's up the ante a bit. And lastly, I just really want Samsung to lean into the fact that this is an ultra device. I want them to include expandable storage. We use these devices in ways that I don't think the manufacturers intended necessarily for us to use them. And for a lot of people, these are their primary work devices. I can film entire YouTube videos. I can edit entire YouTube videos. I can produce and talk to clients. Like, I can do everything with this phone, pretty much. I still don't feel like it's an ultra device if I don't have the ability to upgrade the storage. On my previous video, somebody mentioned that there's no need to upgrade storage. I have they had a Samsung with an SD card slot in it, and they never like tapped into that storage. But I try to respond and just say, hey, you know what? Like, not everybody is that kind of creator. I think those kind of creators or those kind of users should be looking at the S25 and the S25 Plus. For those who are ultra users, I'm talking about people that use this as a primary device and kind of put it through its paces, either with gaming or with content creation. They just want the best of the best. This is Samsung's flagship. This is the thing that should be able to do everything. And they need to find a way to put everything in it. Like, maybe we can do away with the headphone jack. I get it. Like, I mean, it would be nice to have a headphone jack, but whatever. They can do away with it. You can get your USB converter, USB-C converter to headphone jack, so you can still use a wired cable. But I still want an expandable memory card. Like, I want to be able to put a couple of terabytes in here and be able to film without having to worry about whether my phone is meeting its capacity. I can take this on a trip and be able to cover that whole trip if I'm doing work without having to like remove the card or dump the footage or whatever the case is. I want to be able to just cram it all in there. Especially if Samsung are including log footage, which is, it's raw footage, it's big. You know, you're going to use a couple of gigs of that. But I just want them to lean into that, that Ultra name. So as I was saying, the Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra could be the greatest phone of all time. There are a few ways that they can achieve this, and Samsung have been on a refinement journey for the past couple of years, which I actually really appreciate. A lot of people said, oh, there's not enough innovation or whatever the case is, but that refinement journey is important. It means that you don't have to upgrade your phone as often as you would in the past, like the features were so big that you had to get a new one. It means that it's going to break less. I mean, these titanium finishings are amazing and they're strong, and these phones are getting something like 7 years worth of security updates, which means that you can use your phone for a lot longer. It's going to be the new expectation, right? Especially if you get an Ultra device. So with all of that in mind, like if I was consulting with Samsung or if I worked in the office there, these are the features that wouldn't just make it the perfect phone, it'll make it the greatest phone of all time. Go down in history. Are there any features that I've left out that you can contribute and maybe put it in the comments and then Samsung can listen to us? Let me know. I also want to pipe in. I've got strong opinions about this. I'll see you in another video. Cheers.